next
one
one?
more.
You have one more?
Yeah, it's just one more.
Okay. All right, Gabrielle, for the record, go ahead and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Gabrielle Avedian, 5734 North Briarwood Avenue in Fresno. First, I want to thank you for what you do to preserve Fresno's rich history. I'm asking you to please schedule yourself on the agenda with the City Council and assert your authority that they have repeatedly violated. I am in favor of the historic Armenian district, but I am pertinently concerned about the homes in the old Armenian town that are already being constructed on and the violations and ordinances that led up to this. I am asking you guys, sorry, to please stand up to City Council. City Ordinance 12-1601 states that it is the duty of the Historic Preservation Commission to preserve historic resources and to regulate both the exterior and interior alterations when it affects the significance of the resources. The 2008 court opinion specifically declares these homes as historic resources, and the authority to preserve them sits with you. In fact, 12-1617 actually states it is illegal for any other entity, including a city government office, to alter historic resources without your written approval. The City Council has not come to you for approval, as I understand. These apparent violations of city ordinance by the City Council is causing you now to be at risk of violating your charter to preserve these resources. From my understanding, City Council has also not informed you or sought your approval about the fire sale of these homes, has not informed the community within 2,000 feet to hear public opinion on the new project, which is also spelled out in the ordinances, has never taken up your proposal sent to them over 5 years, never responded to your communication requesting an update on the proposal, never informed the developer about community opposition to the current affordable housing plans for the homes, has illegally refused George Bursik, owner of the 2 of those homes, his legal right of first refusal to buy back his homes per the law after they were seized by eminent domain and never used for that purpose for over homes out from underneath his legal right. They ignore the fact that the 2008 court opinion specifically names these as, quote, historic resources, that the opinion states that they were to be grouped together with other historic Armenian buildings, like the church and the bakery, for a historic purpose, and now has sold those homes off for a completely different purpose, all the while citing the original EIR and CUP for the homes, which is a completely different project. Your powers and, to the point, your duties have been circumvented, and I'm concerned that now you're at risk of failing your duties because of council's actions. So I'm asking you to not only go forward with the plan of a historic district, specifically including the 5, or I guess now 3 homes, but also to demand oversight of the council's actions regarding these 5 homes that cut your commission completely out of the picture. I'm asking you to specifically address the 5 homes and ask for a pause in all matters regarding the construction and sale until you have rightfully been consulted by per the city ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, we'll move back to public here. Okay, come on down. For the record, state your name and address, please.
My name is Vaughn Chin. My address is 416 West Sample Avenue in Clovis, California. During the last 4 years with the Armenian Conservancy, we in Heritage Fresno have been actively involved in the Armenian town area. Specifically, our first interaction was when the city called us to see if we wanted to take over the interior of those houses that are currently being worked on. And we had a small percentage of those remaining. We couldn't hold the entire collection. We do have that. We were also involved with finding a home for the Vartanian house. And this was all part of our plan that we had for establishing an Armenian American Heritage Center in that area in Armenian town. And fortunately, in the last few weeks, we've had some very positive developments. We've had meetings with city officials and the developer in terms of being able to relocate the house. And this was made possible by the fact that the Fresno Rescue Mission, or Fresno Mission as they're known now, recently gifted us the Vartanian house and the 3 structures. So we have possession of those. It's tremendous news. And now we're working again with the proper officials in terms of relocating it. The fly in the ointment is that the relocation site is the southeast corner of Ventura and M Street. And from what I understand of the original application for the old Armenian Town Historic District, it's imposed a non-contiguous spots, which then the southeast corner of Ventura and M is not one of them. So we wanted to get some clarification on how we go about either amending that original application, or do we come to you, do we go to the city council? We just want some clarification to make sure that when we get this relocated, it will be included in the Armenian project. And we thank you, Commission, for all their efforts to getting this historical district designated. And we and our partners, Heritage Fresno, are behind it 100%.
Thank you. And we'll help you with that clarification.
Okay, thanks.
Next. All right. For the record, go ahead and state your name and address.
Durian, 8735 North Cedar. I'm not gonna try to rehash anything here. I'm kind of shocked because I was told it was gonna be at the end, and now it's at the beginning, so I rushed over here. But anyway, it's all good. So tonight we have 12 groups here comprised of historical preservationists, neighborhood stakeholders, and cultural preservationist groups. Their names and websites are available if you need to look at any of them. Emotion is kind of high surrounding this because the same thing that happened to Mr. Bursik happened to my grandmother, Zabel, whose land that was taken from her under eminent domain is now bare. So they never even used it for the highway. And the tears that she cried that day were pretty hard for me as a 13-year-old watching her, because she told me once again they were taking her home away. It may not be the Turkish gendarmes that were doing it, or you were being burned out or taken out by guns or knives, but they were taking her home once again from her. So it's one of those times in my life that I will never forget. Maybe that's why I fight so much. Anyway, we're not going anywhere. So if anybody thinks that we're going to go away, we're not. In fact, we're gathering in voice. We have 6,000 people now on a petition that have signed it. So they want this. And I have to put a little footnote there that I'd say 70% of them are non-Armenian. They just like history. They want to see a historical town like Old Sacramento and, you know, the Swedish village in Kingsburg. And they think we can do better and bigger. And I think we can too. Anyway, I'm not going to go over the case law or anything here. I think it's already been established that we've been led astray by Marnie Murphy for over 20 years. I really do hope that there's some kind of investigation done on her, because seeing what she has done and hearing the verbal gymnastics that she has given us has been lip service. And then I think we heard last week how Mike Carbazzi has been talking to the developer, and the developer even said, I thought they were all on board with it. So there's been a lot of misleading things. I can't pretend to understand why Mr. Arias rushed to get it on the agenda 6 days after the ink was barely dry on the agreement. It may have to do with contract running out at the end of the month, end of the year, or it could be that they just didn't want us to know it. Maybe they just thought Mr. Bursik wasn't going to remember about his first right of refusal that was just signed 30 days before that agreement was signed. So one way or the other, I can't pretend to know. But in closing, I asked for the next steps in designating a historic district designation. After 6 years of you guys submitting it and doing all the legwork and the hard work, you deserve some answers. We need to know why this isn't on the city council agenda and where we're at. We need to have a compass, where we're going here. And again, I'd like to see an investigation done on the successor's office. And for those of you that don't know, the name was changed from the redevelopment agency by the ex-Governor Brown because of the fraud and corruption. It looks like they just put a new name on it and everything was basically the same. They slapped a new name on it. So we're losing our history. The signage over on Solomon's country walk is being destroyed. It's being killed back. So, but I will tell you this, they will never be low income or high income rentals. They will be what they were intended for, which is historical resources. I know myself and about 1,000, 2,000 other Dashnots will probably chain themselves to the building, so it'll never happen.
All right.
Yeah. I'm a daughter of a woman who walked through the desert, the Syrian desert, at the age of 13, the same year I was, when I found out they were taking her home with. So I can't let her down either. I do have some attachments if any of you are interested. I'll leave them here. This is the timeline that was done about the last 20 years of screw-ups, lies, and cover-ups. And this other one here is Mr. Bursik's first right of refusal signed by Marlene Murphy and I believe your legal counsel of the city of Fresno.